North Avenue Regulars, also known as The Hills Angels, is a 1979 film produced by Walt Disney Productions and directed by Bruce Bilson, written by Don Tate. And I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy this one. It's on my list of Disney films produced by Disney, that I'm working my way through, so I thought, okay, I'll watch it, I'll give it a go, but I'm not very hopeful. And I'm glad that I go into films with an open mind, because one never knows when they're going to enjoy something they otherwise thought they wouldn't. That's not to say that I thought it was perfect or that I loved every second of it, but I was really pleasantly surprised. It's about these women who go to church, who are involved in trying to point out, maybe that's too soft of a word, but they're involved in trying to run down these gambling establishments. That's too strong of a word. Basically, they're trying to help the government close down gambling, and honestly, that didn't sound like it would appeal to me. I was interested to see how it would work, and I will admit the narrative itself isn't that interesting insofar as the gambling goes. I don't care about that. It's not something that I'm interested in any way, but the reason it did appeal to me is because of the characters of the women. I just think they're fantastic. The way they respond to things is so funny and so unpredictable. And that part of it I thought worked really, really well. And this actually comes about because we have this new reverend, and something happens to some of the money at the church, not because of him, but because of somebody else, the music director, and something her husband does, and then this leads us into the gambling aspect, and then these agents for the government come along and say, look, we need the church to help us take down this gambling, and they involve these women from the church because it seems like they wouldn't be suspected, which is fair enough. And it's interesting enough. As I said, I didn't think it was perfect or the best film I've ever seen, but I didn't think I'd care for it at all, and I actually found myself enjoying a lot of it. Not all of it, but certainly there was a decent amount to like. It was very slow. When I started watching it, that's another reason why I didn't think I'd end up liking it, because it did take much longer than I'd like to actually get to that point. But once it began, I'd still say it was a little slow in places, but in general it certainly started to pick up, and ultimately I wouldn't say it's a slow film, but it does have slow moments. But I was pretty impressed. The North Avenue Irregulars, or Hills Angels, I prefer the title North Avenue Irregulars. I don't know why, I just do. If you prefer one title over the other, please feel free to let me know. It's certainly an interesting story. I think it's very well executed. The gambling aspect doesn't appeal to me, but the characters definitely do. And we have some really brilliant performances. We have a cast including Edward Herrmann, Barbara Harris, Karen Valentine, Susan Clark, Cloris Leachman, to name just a few. And the performances across the board were really, really good. Ruth Buzzi is also in it. I'm quite a fan of Ruth Buzzi's work. I haven't seen that much of what she's done, but what I've seen I really enjoy. She played a character in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is something that I am obsessed with. She played Delilah. And that's irrelevant to my enjoyment of the film, just as a random aside there. I really liked this film, much better than I expected. It's not perfect. It will certainly appeal to some people more than it did to me. But even with that being said, I thought it was pretty decent. And even if it doesn't sound like your kind of thing, I think it might be worth the watch.